everyone, and welcome back to Clever Patch Crafternoons. Today I thought we could jump into a lovely commemoration craft with Anzac Day just a few weeks away. We're going to be making these wonderful scrunch art paper plate poppies, and this is a really great craft for groups where you can combine your poppies to make a wonderful display. Or you could also make them as individuals to display on your door or in your window for Anzac Day. It's a nice and easy craft that's going to take a few basic materials. So all we need is some tissue paper in white, black and red, some paper plates, some glue, a pair of scissors and a pencil. All right, I think that's it. Let's jump into it. We want to start with our paper plate. So you'll just need one paper plate. And all I'm going to do is pretend that I'm going to fold it in half. I just want to pinch those edge pieces there. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Now this isn't a necessary step, but I just like to get an idea of these points on the plate so they're opposite each other. Because what we want to do is create the 4 petals of our poppy. So by creating those creases, I know where these opposite points are on the plate. And what I can do is sketch in some little arches of where my petals are going to be. And I'm going to use these as guides for cutting my paper plate. So on this side, I find the point directly opposite and sketch in the arches. And then I do the same for these points here. So you can just eyeball this if you like. It doesn't need to be perfect. Just try and get it as close as you can to opposite each other. And I'm just drawing my arches only on the rim of the plate. So I stop when I get down to this flat centerpiece here. So now you can see we have these 4 petals of the poppy drawn out. And I also want to sketch in the center of my poppy. So I'm going to have a small circle in the middle and then a larger one around the outside of that. I'm just going to use these pencil lines as guides for when I'm creating my scrunch art. Now we have our poppy drawn. I'm going to use some scissors to cut out these arches, creating the petals. So adult supervision is recommended when using scissors. We don't want any accidents. And I'm just cutting away these pieces of the paper plate. And now our plate is beginning to look like a poppy. So we're going to start our scrunch art in the center of the poppy and work our way outwards. We want to have our glue on hand as well as our tissue paper squares. And all we need to do is apply some glue to where we want to start sticking. And then we're going to take our first sheet of tissue paper. I'm using white for the very center of my poppy, and I'm just going to scrunch it into a ball. Now you can scrunch this as tightly or as loosely as you want, and that will give you a different ruffly texture for your poppy. So once I've scrunched my tissue paper, I'm going to press it firmly into the center of the plate. So we don't want to have too much glue on our working surface, just enough to stick down our tissue. Now we have our white in the center. I'm going to start with the black tissue paper. So the black is going to fill in that second circle that I drew around the outside of the center circle. And all we do is make sure we have singular sheets of the tissue paper. We don't want it to be too thick. And then we just scrunch and press in place. Scrunch and press. And there we have the center of our poppy complete already. All we need to do now is complete our poppy by filling it with the red tissue paper. So add some glue to the area you wish to start covering. You don't want to add too much glue at a time. You don't want it drying out. And now we just continue to scrunch and stick. Scrunch and stick. So this is a really lovely activity. It's quite a nice relaxing activity, focusing on a bit of mindfulness. You can use this time to reflect on Anzac Day and what it means to you, and think about the servicemen and women who have served our country. So continue until your whole plate is full and your Scrunch Art paper plate poppy looks something like this. Now, once you've completed your poppy, you just need to allow it to completely dry, and then it's ready to display. So if you've created a few poppies, or if you've made your poppies as part of a group, you could combine all of the poppies and display them as a nice wall display. If you've made your poppy at home, you could also decorate your front door or pop it in your window as a show of respect for Anzac Day. I hope you've all had a wonderful time today creating your beautiful Scrunch Art paper plate poppies. Be sure to take photos of your poppies all created and on display for Anzac Day. We love seeing what you are creating out there as well. Enjoy the rest of your holidays, and until next time, happy crafting!